What's up, YouTube? It's your boy Jerome, and I'm back today with the review for The Real Housewives of Dallas, Season 3, Episode number 8, titled Off the Leash. So without further ado, let's get the video started. Alright, so I'm gonna start out with Cameron. Cameron is with her kids at home. I actually like the scene with Cameron. It was a really pretty good scene. She has her kids, they're learning Spanish and all that kind of stuff, which is actually a good thing because, there are a lot of people in this world, in the U.S., who only speak Spanish. So it gives the kids a little bit of advantage when they go into the workforce and all that kind of stuff because they can speak Spanish. So I really do like that. I did like that scene, them cooking and they were talking about the ingredients in Spanish. Like I said, I really thought that was a pretty cool scene and I really did like that. This showed a different side of Cameron as opposed to her being a stuffy, pretentious, stuck-up snob. I really did enjoy this. All right, so while I'm talking about Cameron, she did have this event, some kind of dog painting event, which was kind of boring as fuck to me. But I had to talk about it. So all the ladies are there. Carrie is there with her daughter Zuri. Brandy's there with her two daughters, Brooklyn, and I don't remember the other one's name. Stephanie is there with her son Cruz and Chance, and Leanne is there with her dog, and so is Deandra. So, Stephanie pulls Brandy to the side, and she's telling Brandy how when she's talked to Leanne earlier, I guess in the week, and Leanne wants to have lunch with Stephanie and what's the girl named Cameron. Now here's the difference between Brandy and Leanne. Leanne was telling Deandra not to, to kind of have her guard up with Brandy. Brandy's not telling Stephanie that, and I actually like that, with that. And then, Carrie and Deandra were having a conversation, and Leanne noticed the conversation. So when they finish having a conversation, Leanne goes up to Carrie and asks, can she talk to her? Carrie says yes. And basically what it is Carrie's supposed to be telling everybody, what somebody says about them instead of them having to find out later on. So, Leanne wants to know if anybody said anything about her. And, Carrie says, well, Stephanie said good stuff about you. Cameron, not so much. But Brandy says that she feels like you have put a bug in, Cameron's ear and all that kind of stuff. And Leanne is like, that's not even the case. Like, I have not put a bug in Cameron's ear. I feel like Cameron has her own opinion and all that kind of stuff. And once everybody does leave, I noticed that it's just Leanne there, Cameron there, and Deandra there. And Leanne was talking to Cameron about the lunch that she wants to have with Stephanie. And Deandra was sitting there, but Deandra was completely ignoring Leanne in this whole process. I'm like, God, like, looking at last season to this season, like they were best friends, but this season it's kind of a different story. They're not cool with each other. All right, and then we move over to Deandra. She is with her stepson Cohen, that's his name. And he's talking about he's looking at SMU, which is a school here in Dallas, and how he likes it and all that kind of stuff. This is completely opposite of her situation last year with her other stepson, Keaton, I think that's his name. When she was trying to tell him to get a job and all that kind of stuff or do something for herself, and he ended up leaving and all that kind of stuff. So this is a completely different situation than she had last year. Also Mama D shows up, and it's been about 4 weeks since they've talked to each other and all that kind of stuff. So Mama D is coming over to talk to Deandra about the business and all that kind of stuff. And Deandra's talking about, basically separating the companies because she's tired of fighting with her mother and all that kind of stuff because she's all she has left. And, how they can't, since they can't agree on any kind of thing and all that kind of stuff. And her mom tells her basically that she's going to sign over the company to Deandra. And Deandra's kind of, like, I don't know what to believe because, if, I won't believe it until she actually signs on the dotted lines and give me the company and all that kind of stuff. And Mama D is just basically like, the same thing, that Deandra's her only child and she's all that she has left. And she basically just does not want to fight with her over this kind of stuff, which I think is the best thing. I don't agree with people, friends and families working together because that doesn't mix well together. Because like I said, you have your business relationship and you have your relationship of family and all that kind of stuff. So it's got to be hard as shit to balance those two. All right, then we got Stephanie. She didn't really have much of a big scene this week, so it's not gonna be a lot to talk about. But I did like to sing with her. She took her boys to a hip hop class, I believe that was, and it's good to see that her youngest son Cruz is in a better spot than he was last year when she found out that I think he couldn't read and all that kind of stuff. So I really did like seeing this scene with Stephanie. And then while she's in his dance class, she's having a hard time with these boys. She's more of the lenient parent who the kids can basically, hate to say it, push over, whereas Travis is the disciplinary one because they respect him. And I mean, I guess it's always kind of like that with mom and dad. The boys or girls typically, try to run over their mothers, and the dads they fear. But there are some cases where it's opposite, where the kids fear the mother and not the dad. But that's it pretty much. But like I said, I like that scene, and I like Stephanie altogether, like all the women minus Cameron. All right, so we got Leanne. She is planning her wedding and all that kind of stuff, and Cameron called her about this dog event that she's having and all that kind of stuff. So then Rich comes in and they start talking about the wedding. They talk about a tux and all that kind of stuff, and he's like, he already has one that he can wear. And Leanne is like, but have you ever gotten married in that tux? He said no. If he did, he wouldn't be able to fit into the tux and all that kind of stuff. So then they discuss the guest list. Leanne says she has 130 people on her side of the list. Rich says he has 30 people. So then she says, well, let's just say 200 people roughly, in case we forget some people and all that kind of stuff. And then she's talking about how the wedding is going to cost $250,000. And I'm like, what the hell are you doing for like, damn, that's a lot of money for a wedding. Like, it's only one day. Like, yes, the wedding, you want it to be spectacular and all that kind of stuff, but the wedding doesn't mean much as the marriage does. So I don't know why people put so much emphasis on the wedding as opposed to the marriage itself. But, if you got the money to do it, by all means, do it. And then, Leanne starts to talk about Deandra and how, she wishes that Deandra was there with her, helping her plan her wedding, because when Deandra got married, she was her maid of honor and all that kind of stuff. But, right now, Leanne and Deandra are in a bad place with each other because of all the stuff that's happened. And Leanne is telling Rich how, she had a conversation with Deandra and Brandy. Oh, shit. How she had a conversation with Leanne. Oh, shit, that hurt like a motherfucker. How she had a conversation with her at Brandyland and all that kind of stuff. And how she's been texting and calling her, but she hasn't really responded to any of her messages. And then Rich says, call her, shit. That's the best thing you can do. So she calls her. It goes to voicemail, and she's upset about this. And basically, Rich is telling her, right now y'all going through some dumb girl shit right now. And eventually y'all will get back on track with each other. You just got to, give us some time and all that kind of stuff, which I think at this current day, they are still not speaking to each other. So don't know how that's going to really work out. But like I said, I see both sides of it. I definitely get Deandra's side. You're supposed to be my best friend and you over here telling other people my business. And I get, Leanne's side. I apologize to you. I sincerely meant it, but now you're giving me the cold shoulder. So I definitely get both sides of the spectrum. All right, so after Cameron's event, Leanne got a text from got a call from Deandra. So they meet up to, have coffee or whatever. And, Leanne wants to know how things went with the business meeting with Mom and D and all that kind of stuff. Deandra tells her, but she's, she also tells her that she's not quite sure about it because she's not going to be 100% believing it until she actually signs the paperwork, signing the company over to Deandra and all that kind of stuff, which I 100% get. So they sit down and they start talking about all kind of stuff. And Deandra says that she feels like when she talks to Leanne and asks her stuff, that Leanne does not want to tell her the bad stuff that's going on in her life and all that kind of stuff. And then, she asks Leanne, are you getting married this year? Leanne says, yes, we are. We're looking for November. But then she says spring. And she sounded a lot like Sheree with, her She by Sheree joggers, September, spring, fall. And actually, we're almost at November, and I still don't think Leanne and Rich have a date set up. I know that they have a Twitter page dedicated to the wedding. I don't follow that page, but if you guys want to follow that page, go follow it. Like, I don't really know what's going on with this wedding. I actually kind of feel like the girls, like, is there something more that you're not saying? Because then, Deandra asked the question of, does she think he's faithful and all that kind of stuff? And does she feel like he'll stay married to her? Which I guess Leanne does kind of fear that just a little bit. Will he stay married to her because of his track record with marriages and all that kind of stuff? So I guess that's playing a little part in it. And then Deandra tells her how her husband Jeremy said that when Rich and Leanne go out, they don't go out together, they go out separately and all that kind of stuff. And Leanne is like, that's a lie. When I go out, Rich stays at home. I don't force him to come out with me and all that kind of stuff. Now, so then Deandra asks Leanne, do you want me to back off and all that kind of stuff? And Leanne is like, no, I want you to be a friend. I want you to be there to be supportive and all that kind of stuff. Like I say, I kind of see where Deandra's coming from just a little bit. It's kind of odd because y'all been engaged since 2016 and this is 2018. So I hate to say it, but I do see where she's coming from just a little bit. It's kind of weird that you guys have been together for years and now you've been engaged for 2 years and you guys still have not set a date for your wedding. Like, I do see where she's coming from. And I like I said, I kind of hate to say that, but I do see it. If you don't agree with it, I mean, I'm really sorry, but that's just how I feel right now. There's more to this. Where there is smoke, there is fire. All right, now we got Carrie. She is still with her at her parents' house and all that kind of stuff. And then she and Mark are talking about the house, and he feels like one side of the house may be finished soon, so that they can live in that house and in that side of the house while they finish the other half of the house. And Carrie is all for that because she doesn't really want to stay with her parents much longer and all that kind of stuff. Because there's I guess there's some her relationship with her parents is not the best and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, that's what it is. Her relationship, and it's more so with her dad and all that kind of stuff. So she goes and shows Mark and Zuri some family photos of herself and all that kind of stuff. And then she does go into it a little bit deeper that, her and her dad clash and all that kind of stuff. And, they clashed since she was a kid, I guess. And, basically what Carrie wants to do is she thinks that maybe if she goes to Denmark because she has family in Copenhagen, Denmark, she feels like if she goes there to, fix her relationship with her family in Denmark, that she can then come back to Dallas and fix the relationship with her dad. I don't understand that, but if that's what works for her, hopefully it works itself out. And then lastly, I'm going to talk about Brandy. Brandy has hired a nanny to help her with her growing family, and because she has her family, her business, and whatever other stuff that Brandy has going on. I never felt like it was bad for Brandy to have a nanny. Like, if you need the help, it's okay to ask for help. Just feel like it's okay to ask for help. I know you want to be be shero, independent, do it yourself. But at a certain point, you have to be able to know when to say, I can't do this. I need a little bit of help. And then when it comes down to picking a nanny, pick somebody that you feel like you can trust to have your kids around. That's the most important thing. Not to overwhelm yourself and, run yourself ragged. Find somebody that can help you, but find somebody trustworthy that can help you, because there are a lot of crazy ass people out here who do the craziest things to kids, and I don't understand that shit. So, when the nanny comes over, the nanny is going to watch baby Bruin while Brandy and the girls go to that event that Cameron had and all that kind of stuff. Now, Brandy did say she's not going to take her dog with her because her dog doesn't get along with other people, much like Leanne and all that kind of stuff. So then Brandy goes and picks up her girls. Whoo, Brandy had her hands full with those two. One of them was hot. The other one wanted to lick the camera. Then the other one wanted to push the camera out her face and all that kind of stuff. I'm like, Brandy, oh, I pray for you, because you got those two girls and now you got this little boy. Once he starts talking, you're going to be in for a world of hell. Hate to say it, but you will be. But that was the Real Housewives of Dallas. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and I will see you guys later. So I'm going to try to do this. It's going to be a hard Wednesday for me, because what I'm doing is I'm adding 3 shows to my Wednesday night schedule. It's the Real Housewives of Dallas. It's going to be Greenleaf, and it's going to be Black Ink Crew New York. I'm going to try to do all 3 of them tonight. If I don't do Black Ink Crew tonight, I will put it up tomorrow before I put up my How to Get Away with Murder review. But I will see you guys later.